On this week's Collusion Center, OBJ throws a temper tantrum when Eli asks if the carpet matches the drapes, Phillip Rivers' Alf reruns get taped over, and we go to New York to ask the big one.
Peyton Manning or Papa John?
Your weekly recap starts here. Hello and welcome everyone to week 3 of Collusion Center. My name is BJ Robinette and I'm here with my co-hosts Andrew Colicchio and Ganesh Sarma. How are y'all doing this week?
Pretty horny.
Well, I'm doing really good, BJ. I was a Wawa earlier today.
Ganesh has a little hot dog thing going on there. Let's get right into the show. Today we open in Foxborough, Massachusetts, a town once known only to be famous for the world's largest straw hat factory. Last Thursday, Bill Belichick and company took a giant steaming dump on the chest of Bill O'Brien, a man so ripped, his chin has abs.
Was this match a case of sheer incompetence on the Texans' part, or just a complete mastery of the game by Bill Belichick? And the answer is honestly a little bit of both. Houston looked entirely lost on offense, due in part to some incredibly uninspired play calling by O'Brien and their offensive coordinator. The Texans coaching staff called the game in the same way my racist Uncle John talked about Obama, repeatedly displaying bullshit simpleton logic while making everyone nearby deeply uncomfortable and angry. Due in part to this asinine play calling, like running the ball down the middle on 3rd and long, the Texans didn't even sniff New England territory until halfway through the third quarter. Hey Texans, man, it's a hot one. You're out of touch and not meant for this earth anymore. Just like my Uncle John.
There are a few factors at play here. Let's start with Brock Osweiler, the tallest and most overpaid quarterback in the league. Osweiler spent a good portion of the night underthrowing passes and forcing the ball into double coverage, and after the game, he had some profound things to say.
An offense struggles with, developing a rhythm, struggles with scoring points.
Yes, you need to score points to win a football game. I'm glad he's at least aware of that.
I think the first thing that you have to examine is the quarterback, and I'll take the blame for this one.
Yes, this is in part your fault.
I will examine this tape very closely. I will become a better quarterback from this experience.
No, you won't. And as we've hinted at earlier, this isn't all Osweiler's fault, considering the Texans' special teams had a few fumbles. But if you look at his stats since he took the reins of the Broncos last year, they paint a less than ideal picture. In 2015, Osweiler had one of the lower touchdown percentages in the league, which in a vacuum isn't a big deal, but on a team with one of the better offensive lines and receiving corps in all of football, that's a problem.
And that is a perfect lead-in for this week's roundtable discussion. Gentlemen, let's say that you're a GM in 2016. You've got to build a team around a quarterback. I want to know who you're going for. Let's start off with Andrew.
I gotta go with my boy Carson Wentz. Good old cheesesteak Wentz, as they call him in Philly.
Yeah, real home.
They don't call him that.
Well, I've heard different. But what I will say is that this man has been in the league for 3 games. He's won all 3. Mm-hmm. The most recent being against Pittsburgh, which I would say has a decent team.
I would say they have a decent team. The other 2 wins, not a great test.
But he doesn't have a receiver core that would make any quarterback look good. And yet somehow, time in, time out, he's done it. So,
he has looked good, and obviously very young.
Yeah, he's young.
If he can stay healthy, I think that's a great choice.
I think he's going to be in my Teen Talk segments for years to come.
All right, well, we always look forward to those. Ganesh, hit us with something.
Yeah, Andrew likes his teams, and that's fine. Wentz isn't a bad choice. He was a good college player. He won a national championship. He's a little composed in the pocket. That's good, but that's why I'm going with Andrew Luck. He's a little bit older. He's only 27. He's a couple years older than Wentz. But, he's a pocket passer like that. He doesn't, try to do too much with the ball. He makes good decisions. He has he's had a rib injury in the past, not a big deal. But I would take him over Cam Newton just for the fact that Newton relies on his legs a lot. Mm-hmm. And that is very concerning to me over the next, decade. He's one bad hit away from like an Achilles tear or something like that.
That's
so
true.
I would go with Luck. He's the most composed quarterback I've seen in the last couple draft classes.
Yeah, that makes total sense. again, we're playing this as you're the new GM, so we can kind of forget about the ridiculousness that's going on in the front office and, between the coach and everything that's going on in Indiana. I am going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Janine Garoppolo?
Yes, Janine Garoppolo. Okay. She's done some great stuff over the years. Really she's putting in the work.
And you're basing this on looks alone, correct?
I'm doing this 100% based on looks. Jimmy, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's treated like lettuce.
Exactly, and the quarterback is the face of the franchise. You want someone that can go out there week in, week out, and put a great face on your city and your team and your franchise, and he is my pick. No argument there. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw it to Tommy with Tommy's top 5 plays of the week.
Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to my top 5 plays of the week. At number 5, we have Tress Way with this fake punt pass to Quentin Dunbar. There's a new slogan in Washington. If we can't beat you with our stumbling offense, we'll beat you with our below average special teams. Oh yeah, and Odell Beckham's a bitch. The number 4 play of the week is Todd Gurley rumbling and tumbling down to the 1-yard line. It's a wonder women aren't in the NFL, because Gurleys run hard. At number 3, we have Patrick Peterson's one-handed interception on this bomb from Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod, I've got news for you. Arizona don't care about no hokey. The number 2 play of the week is Marvin Jones Jr. with this 73-yard touchdown reception. Watch as he stiff arms cornerback Josh Hawkins on his way to the end zone. Get off him, young blood! At number 1, we have Doug Baldwin with this diving one-handed catch on the sideline. Russell, make it easy on your boy. Put it in the bread basket.
Hey guys, Austin Hanna coming at you live from New York City.
New York City. New York City!
New York City! New York City. And this is the New York Minute. Hey, how good is Tom Brady?
Who?
Hey, how good is Tom Brady?
What?
Tom Brady, how good is Tom Brady?
Sorry?
Forget it. Hey, how good is Tom Brady?
I don't know.
All right. You don't like Tom Brady? Who do you like? Tom Brady, you a fan?
Yes.
Sweet! Oh my fucking God! Peyton Manning or Papa John? Papa John or Peyton Manning? Papa John or Peyton Manning? Papa John or Peyton Manning?
Диалоги, потому что новая эпоха Водолея. И я считаю, что основные ориентиры в эту эпоху – это логика здравого смысла, не мужская логика. Не...
Papa John or Peyton Manning? Papa John! Right answer is Papa John. Papa John or Peyton Manning? Everybody's from Russia out here today. You should go meet up with this lady over there. She's got a lot of great ideas. She's Russian. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I have no idea.
No idea. Super Bowl. Who's going to win it? American football.
Chelsea Football Club.
Chelsea Football Club, Super Bowl 2016. Thank you. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl.
That hasn't been decided yet. But who's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I don't understand too much.
Good enough. Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Me.
You versus
Me.
you versus you in the Super Bowl. Excuse me, what do you think about Deflategate?
Deflategate? Well, I'm not particularly a Tom Brady fan, so I believe that he deserves it. You know, the suspension is definitely...
Play game, half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance to the goal?
Tough but fair.
Shout out my mom, dude. Like, how you doing, mom? I'm on TV. God bless you. I want to shout out my brother. Yo, free my man Ryan. Yo, he gonna get out of prison. Free him out anytime soon. And just God bless everybody. My name's Justin. Follow me on Instagram, King Just.
King Just. Shut up! Excuse me. You can't? What is this? The Church of Scientology? You're on post before they, starve you to death? Jesus, fuck.
Well, everyone, we have a very special guest this week on Collusion Center. All the way from the Bay Area, it is our fantasy guru, Zane Bevan. Zane, thank you so much for coming out here and being with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite an honor.
We have been very, very much looking forward to picking your brain. Let's just go right to it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're picking a fantasy team, where do you start? What is your strategy?
Yeah, you really want to get a balanced player group there. So you don't want to start off with too many tanks up front. You're looking for a mix of defense, a healer, a little bit of ranged in there as well.
Okay. Defense is also a big part of fantasy football, often overlooked. A lot of people are streaming their defenses nowadays. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've heard this one as well. Holding too many pieces of armor is just going to add to your encumbrance rating. So instead of going plate mail and leather mail, what you really want to do is get a nice piece of mithril. It'll cost you a couple GP up front, but it'll be worth it.
Okay, interesting language you guys have out there on the West Coast for football. What I'm hearing, though, is that, a lot of fantasy, it is just a roll of the dice. Nobody really has any surefire predictions.
16.
Okay. Our time is running short. How about you give me one more critical hit point?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me. And fantasy is not just for kids in their mom's basement anymore.
All right. I mean, you're not wrong. Thank you very much for coming, Zane.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap up the week with a quick waiver wire rundown. Looking for a play caller this week? I would say Carson Wentz is a must-add in all formats. But since the Eagles have a bye in week 4, look to target undefeated wacko Joe Flacco. While he hasn't played incredibly well thus far, the Ravens don't have any sort of run game and will look to throw often against a weak Raiders secondary. This game should be a shootout, baby.
For you folks out there still struggling to find a viable running back option to replace Woodhead, Vereen, Peterson, and the multitude of others, you're probably finding it tough to snag someone that would even sniff a field. I mean, sure, you can look at Dwayne Washington in Detroit, but he's splitting touches with Riddick. And for me, the best option seems to be Eagles' Darren Sproles. Again, the Eagles have a bye this week, but he's worth the stash. He's a real dual threat because he can be used both as a receiver and a runner. And while he might not have the stats to be used as a main back, he's a worthy look as a flex in week 5. He's a tiny motherfucking scamp too. Solidarity.
It seems like there are new wideout options springing up every week in the NFL. This week, I'd look at Terrell Pryor for sure, because I think he'll factor into the Browns' offense going forward in a big way, especially now that Corey Coleman's out with a broken hand. Pryor is currently the most talented player on Cleveland's squad, and while calling him the most talented player on the Browns isn't saying much because it's the Browns, he's still a must-own across all leagues.
At tight end, look no further than Tampa Bay's Cameron Brate. Brate was named as the Bucs starter as their former tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, got a DUI in a state where the resting BAC is .20. ASJ's loss is Brate's gain, as he now has no competition and will be a heavy red zone target for Winston. Honorable mentions go out to Bears' Zach Miller, who also had 2 touchdown catches in Chicago's loss to the Cowboys on Sunday. Added bonus, Brate is just fun to yell as well. Brate!
We have a first for you on Collusion Center today. We have a piece of viewer mail from a one deeply concerned viewer. So I'll just jump right in it. Okay, dear Collusion Center, longtime viewer, first time writing in, loving the new season thus far, thank you. As much as I look to you guys as the subject matter experts, I have to admit that I felt the need to write you all in regards to the derailment of last week's major talking point, aka Steak and Cheesegate. Though I normally respect Andrew's thoroughly mature and deeply insightful commentary on most topics, why? Who knows? I have to admit that he needs to shut his goddamn mouth when it comes to defending the scab of American cuisine, the Philly steak and cheese. The fact of the matter is that I'm eternally conflicted about why people refuse to understand that these sandwiches are nothing but vacuous distractions from other far superior dining options. He continues like that in some manner. Just there's a couple paragraphs of him slamming this terrible sandwich. With all of this said, I had the opportunity to visit Philly a few years ago and decided that I should at least try one in the very community that gave it its namesake, which is, I believe, one of your arguments last week. You shat on me for not going to Philly and trying one. Find its origins, get to the root of it, and see where everyone is coming from. Unfortunately, the experience was akin to watching episode 1 and finding out Darth Vader was actually a whiny, bratty, bitchy little kid that you wanted to strangle the whole time. Upon arriving, I was shocked to find that the real Philly cheesesteak from one of the 2 qualified vendors was in fact worse than anything I could have imagined. They used Cheese Whiz from a can and refused to garnish it with the peppers, onions, and mushrooms that you find in other localities. So they basically took a shit on an already shitty idea and made it much worse. Fuck Philly cheesesteaks, and fuck anyone that is willing to go to bat with them. Love, Colden Martin. There is a postscript. P.S. P.S. Chicken Phillies are okay though. Thoughts?
Well, I'll start off with the fact that in the first paragraph, he refers to a cheesesteak as a steak and cheese. That is the number 1 sign that a person is not qualified to speak on the sandwich. And yes, maybe he did go to Philadelphia, and yes, maybe he made the common mistake to go to either Pat's or Gino's. Sorry to both of them. But those aren't the places to go. And if you ask a true Philadelphian, they'd tell you to go to Tony Luke's.
Are you a true Philadelphian?
I am.
Were you born in Philadelphia?
Yes, sir, I was.
And how long did you live there?
A couple months before I moved to Northern Virginia.
All right. So,
wait.
you just to clarify, you were a toddler when you moved out of Philadelphia.
Well, I was an infant if you're going to get pedantic about it. But
I am.
I will say that this sounds very much like Donald Trump and his birther argument with Barack Obama. Yes, I was born in Philadelphia, so I feel like I can
But you were too young to even try a cheesesteak before you moved.
No, not at Tony Luke's where the meat is
let's
so
go ahead and
soft.
move on. Thank you, Colden, for writing in.
Fuck you, Colden.
We hope to get some more viewer mail in the future, and yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us for Week 3's recap here on Collusion Center. We can be found at Collusion Center on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on YouTube and Facebook. Give us your thoughts and questions, and we'll go ahead and answer them. Until next week, keep it right, keep it tight. This is Collusion Center.
Fernandez, left field, it's deep, it is gone! He got it! The kid in his last game, homers to left! We told you to come out! We told you to watch this one tonight! And I don't care if he took a peek at it. It's his first one.